Hello everyone, welcome back to Fairly Determined FM with me. My name is Chris. I hope you're all doing well. We did end up finishing in the top half. Just. So you can see here, we ended up finishing in 10th, which is the top half. We did it by 1 point. The plan was to bring you the Udinese game because there was a chance that we were going to end up actually challenging for a European spot. And we were challenging for a European spot until we shat the bed spectacularly. This is our past position. So you can see we were nicely sitting around in 8th. Everything was going fine. We were in 8th. We were a couple of points behind. We were a couple of points behind the teams in 7th and 6th. And we were sort of on game days, we were trading places quite a lot as goals went in all over Italy. And then we just lost it completely. Absolutely completely. Look at this. Did the Udinese double header. And then we did Bologna and Empoli, didn't we? So after the Bologna and Empoli games, we went and battered Verona 4-0. Beat Sampdoria 2-0, and then Roma beat us 2-0. Torino beat us 2-0. We can muster a draw with Cagliari. Sassuolo beat us 3-1, and then we did eventually finally beat Udinese the third time of trying 5-1, which is really. I probably should have brought you. It was a really good game because of this terrible patch here. Our chances of finishing in the European spots went through the floor, just completely disappeared. We ended up fighting with Lazio for 10th. There was a chance on the very last day of the season we weren't going to make it. We were going to end up finishing in 11th, so we would have failed in the objective of getting to the semi-final of the Italian Cup, and we would have failed in the objective of getting top half. And I don't know, but I think they might have fired me, possibly, even if it was only by like 1 point that we didn't make it. So, job done, I guess. I don't really bleeding know, to be honest. It doesn't feel like job done. It feels like we dropped an opportunity here to have come in, said, yeah, we're going to finish top half, and then actually ended up delivering European football. That would have done the world of good for my stock as Napoli manager, but it wasn't to be. So here we are. I've already had the meeting with the club about what they want for next season, and what they want for next season is to actually finish in the top 6 and qualify for the Euro Cup, which I do think is doable, but we do need to make a lot of changes. Something I noticed over the course of the season is that I think, when did we come in, actually? When did we start? We didn't have any Champions Cup games, so it was after then. That was it. Inter and Sassuolo, they were our first 2 games. One thing I've noticed over the course of the season, if you look at the traffic light system of our results, is that we suffer from a lack of consistency. We had a really good run here of 3 wins, and then we were unbeaten in the league here for 4 wins, for 4 games, unbeaten for another 4, and then spectacularly crapped the bed at the end of the season. And it's a lack of consistency, I think, is problem number 1. So that's something we need to address. Problem number 2 is to do with our shooting. Oh, my light's gone off. Didn't charge that. Oh well. Right. I'm going to just concentrate here on Darwin Núñez and Patson Daka. Actually, I can sort this by goals because that's going to help me immeasurably. Get Patson Daka and Darwin Núñez, between them, scored 28 goals. And let's include Kuna in this as well. He got 11, so that takes the total for those 3 players up to 39 goals for the season, which is, not a bad return. 15 goals, 13 goals, 11 goals, 3 players in double figures is pretty good. When we look at the data hub, we can see it's not quite that simple. Darwin Núñez, for 15 goals, he was, according to this anyway, pretty aggressive, but they were low quality. Like, he had a lot more shots than he did shots on target. Patson Daka, slightly skewed to the other side, but not by much. He's aggressive. He was an aggressive shooter with high quality finishing, so says to me he had a lot of shots and more of them were on target than not. Dylan Hugoff, I'm not really including because he didn't score that many and I wasn't really using him as a striker. He was definitely more of a creator for me. Going over to the midfield, so you can see Kuna, aggressive and high quality. None of our midfielders really chipped in with any goals. They were either passive and low quality, or passive and high quality. Renteria never really played. Sander Berge scored a couple of good goals towards the end of the season. If we look at the shooting overall, we were aggressive but low quality. The teams that we need to be competing against next season, Inter, Roma, Juventus, AC Milan, all aggressive, all high quality. We need to get some more players into this quadrant of this data hub. And this, you can sort of see this if we go and have a look at stats, general play, goal attempts. Here we go. Right. Darwin Núñez had 144 shots and only 60 of them were on target. That's less than half. Patson Daka, 123 shots, 53 on target. That's less than half. Mathis Kuna, 80 shots, 38 on target, less than half. As I was watching games, I noticed it more and more where we would have these games where we were getting 20, 30 shots off. and only 6 or 7 of them will be on target. And I'm thinking that's ridiculous. And this is that's with work the ball into the box on and reducing the tempo here and there. I know we play that gegenpress system, but sort of lowering the tempo, taking off work the ball into the box and all this sort of stuff, trying to lessen the crazy shots that people were taking. So those are 2 problems straight away. One, lack of consistency and lack of composure, I guess, in front of goal is the best way to describe it. And then the third one is goalkeeper. Goalkeeper, I guess this is still lack of consistency, really. Our goalkeepers will either show up and be amazing and, like supermen, you would not get anything past them, or they will go completely absent for several games. One of them so much, Dominik Livakovic, I put him into the under-20s and I'm selling him to Brighton for £5 million because he's just been awful. Awful. 37 goals conceded in 25 games. He had 3 clean sheets. 3 over the course of the season. That is diabolical as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, Livakovic is gone, but that leaves us with just Labrovic, who is good. He conceded, I think, 11 goals over 13 something appearances. Actually, we can find out. Yeah, 13 appearances, 11 goals conceded, 6 clean sheets. He's good. He is a good goalkeeper. He will be our first choice next season, but I need to bring in a young goalkeeper who can act as a backup and come in the cups, maybe, in some of the games where I want to get him some experience. We need more. We need better. We need depth. We need to address the aging quality of this squad. I didn't realise how big of a rebuild job this squad would be. Like, I knew that we had a lot of players aging out, but I didn't realise that the players we had here were so inconsistent, right? So there's a lot to do. Now, I've talked in the past about Club DNA, which is something I shamelessly stole from Bust the Net. It's the attributes that I value the most in players, and you can see them here. I want players who can pass, I want players who can tackle, I want fast players, I want players with a good composure, good work rate, and good teamwork. Those are the 6 things that I really care about in terms of what players I'm looking for. I'm going to add something to this. It's not an attribute, but it will most likely mean that I'm saying no to some players who are good, stat-wise, attribute-wise, but who don't have consistency. So I'm going to be looking for, let's pick someone who did perform well over the course of the season. Reece Oxford, fairly consistent performer. So this is what I'm going to be looking for, consistency. I'm going to be looking in the leading scout reports that we're looking at these players for. And if a player is not at least fairly consistent in their scout report, I'm not going to be making a move for them, because I cannot be having situations like this again where we're just, where we just go missing for long periods at a time. Just especially at the business end of the season when there's actually something to play for. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Sorry, it's turned into a bit of a sermon this episode. I do apologise. We're losing some players. Zielinski's leaving. Livakovic is leaving, which I don't care about. Dybala, I'm not renewing his contract. I'm not going to. David Stasi is leaving as well. So we're gonna say goodbye to a few of these players. Telej is also going, and some of these youngsters who aren't ever going to make it to the first team. They're not. I mean, they've made a few appearances here and there, but that's necessity more than anything. So when you look at the players who are going to be here next season, that's not a big squad. That is not a big squad at all, and it only has 1 goalkeeper in it. So there's a lot to do in the transfer window. I have made 1 move, maybe 2 moves. I've definitely made 1 move. We will be welcoming next season a 19-year-old English wonder kid, Andre Franklin. We ended up paying what will amount to potentially over £12 million, based on certain clauses being met and all that sort of stuff. But he is a very, very young left back. He's a very, very young wonder kid left back. He's got good acceleration. He's got some pace. He's got some stamina. He can tackle. He can mark. Passing is not up to scratch, but I'm going to let that slide because we can work on that. Look at those mentals, though, like aggression, anticipation, bravery, concentration, decisions. He's not very composed. He's already failed 2 of my club DNAs. Teamwork, vision, work rate, positioning, all excellent. Decisions, determination, flair. Like, he's got skills, and he could even, if we take away the crossing and the dribbling, we could be using him as a bombing up and down the wings winger. But he's 19 years old. He's only going to get better. And fairly consistent performer. Tick. So he will be sort of understudy to Jamal Lewis for next season, which is good. So he's coming in, but yeah, we need some players. We need another goalkeeper. We need another right back. Although Alessandro Giardini, over the course of the season, his potential has skyrocketed, which is really good to see. So I'm probably going to be using him more and more next season. I did start using him towards the tail end of last season, or the season just gone, but yeah, he didn't really perform. Probably need another midfielder, another good midfielder, and we probably need another good winger who can play on the left or the right. Because at the moment, we've got Hugwolf, decent enough. Darwin Núñez can play out there. Cunha can play out there. And then we've got Passendacker up front. But I need more options. We need many, many more options. So that's sort of where we are. We've got £2 and a bit million left in the transfer budget. And it's saying here that next season minimum guarantee budget will be 7.6 million, or 7.9 million rather. I'm really hoping that is not the case, that we get a little bit more. Otherwise, we could be in for another season of struggle. There's not going to be an episode on Friday because I'm going to take my time on this transfer window, see if I can get it right. So I'm going to be working on this over the rest of this week and over the weekend, and then Monday will be the first game of next season with hopefully a new and rejuvenated squad, and I hope to see you there for it. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know what you thought down in the comments. Leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already subscribed, and I'll see you soon for some more Manager's Journey. Cheers. Bye.